The Elimination Chamber. WWE likes to refer to the looming metallic structure as Satan's prison, which is weird because hell is supposed to be inescapable for its condemned souls anyhow, right? Is WWE trying to tell us that the Elimination Chamber is an appropriate stand-in for the entirety of hell? And if not, does Satan's prison connote a specific section of hell for the certain condemnees, like the ones that held up one of hell's convenience stores at gunpoint? And how would one of hell's prisons be worse than hell on the whole? Like, if you're not in Satan's prison, but you're still in Hell's city limits, do you have a little more free reign than the ones in Satan's prison? So many questions, so few of which have to do with wrestling. It's all part of keeping an open mind, you know? But overcooked nicknames aside, WWE's Elimination Chamber has enjoyed a storied history over the last decade and a half. On 20 occasions, competitors have been sent into the domed cage to settle championship-level scores. Naturally, the past 15 years have given way to some truly stunning moments. Some planned, some not. Some shocked on a visceral scale, while others on a logical plane. There has been no shortage of startling sights in the history of the Elimination Chamber. I think it's time to take a look. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic.com, and I'm here to run down the 10 most shocking moments in Elimination Chamber history. Join us! Number 10, The Mortal Man. WWE had 1 year to get the most out of Goldberg and his well-marketed mythos. That got off to a great start when the most frightening beast to ever conquer the WCW landscape meekly smiled his way through Tourette's-riddled gold dust, adorning him with a matinee idol wig. You're doing a heck of a job, Vinny. But that disservice was a misdemeanor compared to the booking of SummerSlam 2003. It seemed as though the man was on his way to clearing the ring in the closing Elimination Chamber bout, having dispatched Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Jericho with his brute strength. Then, after doing 90 seconds of work, the injured bicycle shorts-clad Triple H brained Goldberg with a sledgehammer and pinned him. This was shocking in the sense of, man, I thought they'd try harder than that. Number 9, win 2 for the sister. It's pretty sad when Bray Wyatt actually wins a match is considered a shocking development. Much in the same fashion that one of your elderly relatives getting up and taking a piss on their own is surprising. In that same drained vein, the comically misused Bray Wyatt pinning John Cena and AJ Styles, both cleanly, to win the WWE Championship should not have been shocking, and yet it really was, because the one menacing Wyatt has the career winning percentage of a bearded Reno Riggins. Well, at least Riggins was spared having to wrestle inside of an alleged house of horrors. Number 8, Split Legacy. History will show that the junior Ted DiBiase had one of the most bizarre runs ever in WWE, going from petulant jock to mindless toady to privileged heir to, tailgate party enthusiast? He even starred in one of WWE's movie, Marine 2, Even Marina, so clearly there were big plans for the guy. Those became a tad more evident in the wake of the movie's release, as the Legacy faction fragmented during the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber bout. DiBiase accidentally brained Randy Orton with a lead pipe passed in by Cody Rhodes, but was like, screw it, and pinned him anyway. In previous instances, the taller Orton would bully his Legacy lickspittles like Nelson Muntz would his shorter bungling sidekicks of the early Simpson seasons. This time, seeing DiBiase shrug off a mistake like that only enhanced his character's level of coolness. Shame he apparently fell into the Springfield mystery spot like a week or so later. Number 7, the Milan Miracle falls short. The ending of the 2011 Royal Rumble spoke volumes about where fan instincts lay by that point. When entrenched mid-card comic relief Santino Marella almost usurped the victory from Alberto Del Rio, the reaction wasn't, wow, we almost saw an upset, but instead, wow, WWE really tried to swerve us there, because not so deep down we're soulless clods that have figured out the patterns. Nonetheless, 13 months later, WWE went to the Santino well once more and had Marella push World Heavyweight Champion Daniel Bryan to the limits at the conclusion of their chamber match. At a couple of junctures, it seemed as though Marella would actually pull it off, which endeared itself well to the Bryan fans who thought WWE was going to rob them of the chance of seeing their hero waltz into WrestleMania as a world champion. Rest assured, that didn't happen, and Daniel Bryan got his championship moment at WrestleMania 28, which made all of his fans happy. Number 6, A Tale of Two Reigns. Across the first 6 months of 2009, the WWE and World Heavyweight Championships combined changed hands an estimated 86 times, with Triple H netting an additional 15 reigns, and even one lucky fan at a house show in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, getting to be champion for a night. Her grandkids were never prouder. With these statistics in mind, it shouldn't be too surprising that a wrestler held both belts on the same night, hours apart. Edge dropped the WWE Championship early in the opening chamber match, then stole stole Kofi Kingston's spot in the main event, winning the World Heavyweight belt there. It was a rather unique idea that hadn't been executed in the split belt era to that point, and naturally a prideful bastard like Edge would be just the one to do it. Number 5, Kalisto rocks the cradle. Despite the danger that the structure promises, there's actually little room for death-defying stunts as there would be in a ladder or TLC match, unless you're willing to let Sugar Shane Helms deliver a vertebraker onto the staging grates, that is. Kalisto attempted to insert a little element of peril into a Forgotten Chamber event 3 years ago, a curious all-tag team rendition of the match. Climbing to the spire of the chamber, Kalisto swung back and forth like a broad jumper and then simply dropped down like a discarded mannequin, almost missing Cesaro and the Ascension in his descent. Fortunately, they broke his fall just enough, but man, that still had to hurt. Number 4, the whole effing throat. The original Elimination Chamber match at the 2002 Survivor Series seemed like the victim of minimal beta testing. The fact that the pods opened in the wrong order, Kane coming in before Shawn Michaels instead of the other way around as intended, threw the match into disarray, but perhaps not as badly as rendering one of the ring generals speechless. Early on in the contest, Rob Van Dam delivered an elevated 5-star frog splash onto a prone Triple H, accidentally jamming his own knee across Helmsley's neck. The mistake caused Triple H's throat to swell up to a dangerous degree, to the point where he had to be held overnight at a New York hospital to make sure that he didn't ultimately suffocate. Number 3, Morrison rides the storm. More impressive than Kalisto's dive, as 1, Morrison fell from a more precarious angle, 2, he had only one target to hit instead of a collection of bodies waiting in place, and 3, the event wasn't a forgettable throwaway pay-per-view designed to help fudge WWE Network sub numbers. Sorry 2015 show, it's time you knew the truth. But yeah, Morrison Spider-Man'd his way to the chamber's apex, peered back toward poor King Sheamus, and tumbled down in a pseudo-spiral, managing to hit his big Irish target in spite of the fact that Sheamus' skin tone nearly camouflages with the Dade Plain canvas. A month after inventing the Kofi elimination avoidance spot at the 2011 Royal Rumble, Morrison continued to impress in his final WWE year. Number 2, Dead Man Burning. For as much as WWE promotes the Elimination Chamber as a deadly environment, the hyperbole almost came true in 2010, for a performer whose very motif is death. The Undertaker made his entrance for the World Heavyweight title chamber match at Night's End, only to nearly be burned alive by columns of premature pyro. Had Undertaker not been wearing his long trench coat and brimmed hat, he very well could have died in the accident. Instead, Undertaker suffered second-degree burns across his neck and torso, and still found a way to complete the match, despite his searing pain. What a pro. According to Chris Jericho, the pyrotechnician was immediately escorted out of the building following the show, his employment terminated due to the monumental cock-up. Number 1, Edge cashes in. Not technically a chamber match, but it's chamber adjacent, so go with it. John Cena successfully defends his WWE Championship in a 6-man chamber match, despite losing enough blood to satisfy his local blood bank's needs for 2 years. And it seems that yet another pay-per-view is going to end with the now time-honored mashup of Cena's peppy music and a torrent of booze. Au contraire. For the first time ever, we had ourselves a Money in the Bank cash-in. As Edge finally turned in the briefcase he'd been toting around for 9 months, there's a birthing joke in there somewhere, and beat the wounded Cena into oblivion to capture his first world title. The Money in the Bank gimmick had arrived, Edge had arrived, and live sex celebrations had arrived. I'll tell you which is my favorite. It's Edge, you sicko. So that's our list. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and you can follow me on Twitter here. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.